Hello, thanks for being in a new video. This time we have unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy A16. Let's get started. The Galaxy A15 was last year's best-selling device from Samsung, so this one will probably be called to inherit that throne. Let's get to know it to find out what it has to offer. Remember that in this case it is the 4G edition, so there will also be a Galaxy A16 5G. So please pay attention to those differences. This device has been launched in Mexico at a price of 4,298 pesos. On screen, you see the reference price in dollars, although remember that the prices here are not the same as over there. In this case, we are obviously talking about one of the cheapest devices in Samsung's catalog. So let's take it out of the box and see what it can offer us, although apparently it will not have much content. So let's open this up. We're going to come right up to the cell phone. Let's take it out. This cover is perceived quite nice. It's not plastic. Remember that several companies are with this trend of using as little plastic as possible. And here we find the device a very traditional Galaxy design with this frame that also surrounds the screen perfectly well. Let me also remove this sticker. And the rear design is also very Galaxy style, minimalist, without too many frills, without a module covering the cameras or anything like that. You could almost say it's the Galaxy S25 Plus or something like that. So as you power up the device, let's take a look at what else is included. For starters, we come across this promotional sheet for Samsung Care Plus, which is the insurance that Samsung offers so that you can have some level of protection on your smartphone. Next, note that in this case, we can remove this cardboard, but there is no content in this part. But at the other end of the box, we will find this envelope that contains a little more stuff, but the truth is very little. For example, we find the key to remove the tray. And if we open this envelope, we will find the cable, which in this case is from USB-C to USB-C. But it is of a relatively short length and will support the load of 25 watts. That the charger is not included in the box. Definitely always that is something that bothers, but in Samsung we are already getting used to that. Even in the low range do not include charger. By the way, here also come other paperwork and quick documentation, and that's it. So I was saying that it is annoying that they do not include a charger, especially because sometimes it can be a little difficult to find the original charger, or it makes you suspicious if any charger is going to be compatible with this device. So I'll just quickly take the opportunity to tell you that these are the chargers that I use to charge all of my Galaxy devices. This is one that has many outputs, but they also have other smaller and cheaper ones available, fully compatible with the fast charging of this cell phone. So in the description, I'll leave you the link to purchase these chargers that are the ones I have tested and have worked quite well. So that's basically all that comes in the box. As you realize, very little content. So let's focus on the handset to learn about its specs. I already have the device set up here, so let's comment a little bit about it. The design still doesn't look too modern, as the bottom bezel is relatively large and still has drop notch design. And if you add to the thickness of the bezel, the thickness of the frame, it ends up being a device that doesn't take advantage of so much its front. It is also something that we are getting used to in Samsung, that only the high end comes with thin bezels and other devices are not so careful in this aspect. It has a thickness of 7.9 millimeters and weighs 200 grams. So let's say it is more or less thin, although not exaggeratedly light. The screen has 6-7 inches in its diagonal, quite traditional. In this case, with Super AMOLED technology with full HD resolution. You will even notice that it also comes with 90% Hertz refresh rate, good enough in the price range. You will probably find others with 120 Hertz, but honestly, I would prefer 90 for lower battery consumption, and anyway, if it shows you fluid movements. But there it depends on the taste of each one. A screen, I think it can become a good point, especially for the technology, which, as I say, being AMOLED will offer us very vibrant colors and good color quality. Contrast, unlike other devices that could integrate IP screens in this price range. There are even some who dare to put IPS screens still in much more expensive devices. So it is good news to see such screens in this economic device from Samsung. In this case, the device comes with only one speaker, so it has mono sound, plus no headphone jack. In fact, the absence of the headphone jack seems to me something important because in the price range, most still retains this element. It seems that Samsung wants to bet that you buy wireless headphones, and mono sound I think is something that also still in the price range could be common. But if there are competitors that offer you stereo sound for an experience a little more, the front camera is 13 megapixels with aperture f2.0 and fixed focus, and although in the view, previous is not so well optimized and looks completely overexposed, after taking the picture makes a good balance and has a good level of detail. Maybe the color is not as intense as I would like, but I think that in the price range we could not get so demanding. On the back we're going to find 5 megapixel ultra wide camera with f2.2 aperture and fixed focus. Then 50 megapixel main camera with f aperture 1.8 and autofocus, although without stabilization. And the last 2 megapixel macro camera with f2.4 aperture and fixed focus. Let's take a look at some results. The ultra wide camera offers us a very good width but little level of detail, although in the price range many manufacturers do not incorporate ultra wide camera. So I think that in this sense could come to stand out for the amplitude. The main camera also offers good photo quality. I think in this sense, Samsung always does a pretty decent job, although it notes that it does not seem to take advantage of the high resolution sensor very well. As applying 2x zoom does not seem to have a level of optical detail, and I would say that the 4x zoom, we could say that it has pretty good quality. The maximum zoom is 10x, but there is noticeable over sharpness. And the macro camera notes that it gives us rather poor results in terms of color and detail, so I don't like it. This is as close as you can get with the main camera, which is not too much, but if you zoom in 2x, I think you can indeed get much better results than with the macro camera. So the macro camera for me would be better if they didn't integrate it. Personally, I would have preferred to see optical stabilization in the main camera or more resolution in the ultra-wide camera, and it would be fine if they remove this camera, but I think that in terms of marketing, for many people it's more attractive to see 3 macro cameras than 2. For video recording, note that we will have full HD at 30 frames per second as maximum resolution. Fortunately, the ultra-wide camera can also record in that quality and the front camera as well. The battery has a traditional 5000 mAh capacity with 25 watts charging support, but the charger is sold separately. But don't get too carried away with the numbers, because on occasion, I've seen devices that have batteries and charging powers that, in theory, they are far superior, but in practice, they do not make that much difference. So I would recommend you wait for the video review to see those specific details after we do different tests. This device comes with Android 14 and One UI 6.1. Obviously, Samsung will add several options. In this case, just to give an example, there are the modes and routines that we do not find in other brands. So here you can automate a number of things on your phone, and that's one of the most appealing things about Samsung's operating system. And finally, in terms of performance, it integrates 4 gigabytes of RAM with 128 gigabytes of storage. And the processor is the MediaTek Helio G99, a processor that I think is a bit common in the price range, although you can also find it in cheaper devices and others dare to put it in more expensive devices. So it's not a device that's going to stand out, especially for high power or anything like that. And I think the 4 gigabytes of RAM worries me more than the processor. I think the processor could perform very well if this device came with 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM, but Samsung's operating system is pretty heavy, and with 4 gigabytes of RAM, you're possibly going to have a bit of a clunky experience at times. But let's take a look at the benchmark results for this processor. In single core, it reached 695 points, and multi-core, it reached 1961. Finally, in Antutu, it reached 389,970 points, confirming that it will not be a device that is going to stand out, especially for graphics power or anything like that. But I insist, stay tuned for the video review so you can witness the tests and all the performance that this device can achieve. For now, we have reached the end of this video. If you liked it, you know you can tell us, and we'll see you next time.